the focus of it is for younger people. It's kind of oriented towards helping them develop a love for family history and become more familiar with their ancestors. And so I'll just go ahead and show it to you. This is the landing page when you start the app up. The app is available on the App Store right now, and it's just called ThisIsFamily. But this is the landing page that comes up. And so originally, so there's no, right now there is no tree, and so it starts out with plant tree. And so you just click on that, and it comes up with some kind of screens that you can use to put the information in. Now, one thing I might say too is that there's actually a voice that goes through and kind of coaches you along. And so it's kind of hard to hear in this particular meeting, so I'm going to shut it off. But it'll actually lead you through and tell you, kind of give you some guidance on what steps, to take next. And so, but I'm going to shut it off here at first. And so I'll just turn off the speaking right now. And then, but that is an option that you can use if you, want to get started. And so I'll go ahead and start again. So it says, okay, this is me. So the first thing you have to do is you have to put in information about yourself. Is this tree, this is your tree. And so you're putting in information. So I'll just do it for myself. You click the gender, and then it just goes through and you can put in your first name. So that didn't work the way it's supposed to, but so Scott. And then we'll go ahead. And then you can put in the birth year. And it just is a scroll, just one of the things you can scroll with. If you, well, I'm not quite that old. I clicked outside, sorry about that.
Dear, you might tell them you're doing it from your computer rather than the app. So.
Oh yeah, I'm actually doing this from my computer. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Carol. So usually this would be on your phone or your iPad, and so you just be doing this by tapping on it with your fingers. And so
it's just hard for us to see you typing it in, but.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe it would have been easier from your iPad.
Yeah, it would have been easier on my, and then I'll put some of my birthplace is Idaho. And then you can put in something about yourself if you want. So I'll just put in, I have brown curly hair. I did.
Just put your buff.
It's nice if you do it from your screen because then you can swipe, which is a lot faster. So, and the balloons that are scrolling by are actually just questions that you could answer about yourself. It gives you some ideas of some questions that you could, so you could put in, okay, what book do you like to read, or your favorite type of museum? There's a whole list of questions that scroll by to just kind of give you some ideas of things that you could put. And then this bar at the bottom, you can actually, I won't do it during this, but so I'm not sure how it works. But you can, like this microphone, so you can click on that, and then that allows you, you can actually just record something about yourself. Rather than typing it in, you can just go ahead and record, you know, whatever you want to say. And then you can also add a picture. The camera here allows you, you can add a picture of yourself, or you can actually, if you have a picture on your iPad somewhere, you can actually upload that picture if you want to do that. And then there's also one here for sharing the information. So anyway, that's basically the only information that you have to put in about yourself. And then it's supposed to go to the next screen. I'm not sure why it's not doing that. Well,
Do you want to just hook up your? Did it freeze?
sorry, I'm not sure.
You're right.
Oh, there you go.
So then it basically shows you that. And then once you enter the information,
What's going on?
I was just on my way down to the Arboretum.
What you?
so it goes through and it gives you these, when you first run the app the first time, it goes through and it gives you these hints about how different parts of the app function. And so, and those usually are actually spoken to, but I turned off the sound. And so this is the page that comes up after you've created your avatar. And so this basically is kind of a image of yourself. And so it has my name, it has the, you know, the year I was born, it shows that I'm still living. And so it shows you my age. And then over here, you can go in and you can change different features about the avatar. And so you can change, like, if you want to, if you think those eyes aren't really what yours look like, you can click on those and then it changes the eyes in the avatar. I actually like the rest of that, but I don't think I'm as bald as that is. So I'm going to go in and change my hair. And so I'll add it. So, and you can change the color of your hair too. If you want to be really young, then you can actually change it so that you're, you know, you look differently. And, but I, you know, I'm actually not that. And then, so these are the facial features in this tab that you can go in and change. You can change the lips as well if you want. And so it gives you different lip styles if you want something besides how those are. I actually like those lips. And then you go in, and once you've done that, then you can switch over and change to the clothes for the person. And so here's what comes up as the default. And this is actually a scrollable list. And so you can scroll down and look at different clothing options. And so I'm going to pick this one. And so I'll change it to be, you know, look like that. And then if you want, you can add a hat. Oh, you know what I did? That's what's the problem. Sorry, that shouldn't happen again. Okay. So now you can put in, like if you want to wear, you know, if you want a hat, I like hats. And so I'm going to put, maybe I'll put this hat on. Or you can, you know, yeah, I think I'll just do this one. And so you can change the hat that you want. If you want to add glasses, you can put glasses on the person. You can also, if you want them to have a mustache, you can add a mustache as well. Might as well, if we're going to make one, make it look good. And then you can change the color of the mustache as well too. And then this one is also just the hair again. So this one you can change the hair from this particular hue as well. And then, so the other thing that you can do is down here at the bottom, there's a timeline, there's a slider right here. And so right now it shows from 1956 to 2020. And so that's the span of the avatar. And if you want to look at them, you want to just for fun say, okay, well, let's see what they look like back when I was, let's change it to be when I was 30. And so it'll go back, it'll adjust the image so that when you see the person, then that's just a stereotype of maybe what they looked like when they were 30 years old.
Okay,
So
that makes me laugh. We're all laughing here.
That's pretty realistic of what I look like, don't you think, Carol?
No.
And so, you know, the thing you'll notice is that since I had a mustache on there, then it changed that to a beard. But if you didn't have a mustache on, it wouldn't add one on anything. But it keeps the hat on and changes the clothes around. And then, yeah, it's actually kind of a cool picture. And so then you can do it, and if you want to even look at it when they were younger, so let's go to when I was 18 and see what I looked like then. So that's 18 years old. I don't know about that. I like the 30-year-old better. You can see, and the thing too is that the clothes are actually adjusted to kind of be the time period of the avatar. So that really, the clothing for that style is in the 70s. And so it's changed to be that kind of a picture. And then you can go back if you want to go even younger. So let's see what it was when I was getting baptized. See how I looked then. And it actually is a lot faster on the device than on my computer. So there I am at 8 years old. So that's a.
Why do you have the pirate?
That's a Daniel Boone hat. So anyway, that's what you can do with that and change it around. And then you can also, this other tab allows you to go in, and if there's anything about the person that you want to change, you can actually go into that tab and change it. So I can change, you know, my name, the gender. This one is actually like the birth information, and then this one's a death tab since I'm not dead, and then this is the about. And so when we're done, so that's, and then this is, you know, you can switch back. This will take you back to just the face view, and you can see what the, you know, the person looked like back then. And then once you're done, you can click on this save, and it'll actually, like when it puts the avatar in the tree, it actually changes them back to their age, to their oldest age. And so here's what so here's basically, this is the tree. And so I'm the bottom of the tree. And so that's where it starts out. And if I want to add someone else in, then I just click on this acorn right here, and it'll go back and it'll start with my mother. And so then I can go in, I click on my mother, and then it'll go through the same basic process that it went through when I was doing, you know, putting my name in. Only for my mother, it'll actually ask a few other questions. So here I can put in, you know, my mother's name. Let me see. Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not doing that. So we'll cancel, I'm going to cancel out of that. So then you can go through, and if you don't want to add your mother in right then, you can go in and you can go to your father, and then you can do your father. And you can go through all of your, so then once I've done my mother and my father, then it'll go and the next one will be my wife. And so then I can go in and add my wife. And then the next, then you just keep going through, and this basically, then I can add in my children. So it comes up and then I can go in and say, okay, I'm going to add, I want to add my son or my daughter. And so you just keep adding, you know, those until you cancel those out. And so that's kind of how you go through and add your family. And another thing I wanted to show you was, so this little button down here actually allows you to connect to Family Search. And so if you click on this, then it comes up with Family Search and it gives you basically a login page. And so you have to enter in your information for logging into Family Search. And so you can enter in basically your Family Search credentials, and then it will take you into Family Search. I'm not sure why it's not. See what it does there. Okay. So basically then you can go in, it'll bring up a controls panel on the side, collection view, that shows it basically shows all of the ancestors that are in your family tree. And it shows a way that you can add those in. I'm actually I'm gonna stop this. And I want to just show you what happens when you come back in. From like after you've used the app and set some things up, then basically it'll show you what okay, so if you come back into the app.
Okay, let's create a new family tree. Let's add you to the tree.
Okay, so now you'll notice, so it comes back, says welcome back. So now basically it added another circle thing here, and this one basically says climb tree. And so you still have the option to plant a tree. So, but if you plant a tree, then basically what that's going to do is going to start out with a new user. So if there's different people, each person in their family can start their own tree. But then if you climb a tree, then it allows you to basically
Congratulations, Carol.
pick a family member. I mean, it'll show you a list of whatever trees have been created. And so this is the only one we've created so far. And so this is mine. And so I can click on that. And then it'll go in and load me. And so it basically takes it back to this point where I was, you know, where we left off. I'm going to try going into the family tree again, see if I can get that to work. Oh, I know why. Okay, so then it comes back when you're logging in. So I put in my Family Search login credentials, and then it asks me how many generations do I want to display. And so I'm just going to do 3 generations here. You can do, you know, you can do more generations. It'll just take longer to load those in. And you just do the plus and the minus to add, you know, if you want to go more or less, then I just use those plus or minus. And so I'm just going to do so now basically it's downloading my ancestors into this collection view. I wasn't sure. Okay. And so so now it's updating that list. And so you can see, okay, so here's my ancestors, and this is a scrollable list here. So here's my father, here's my mother. This is actually my grandfather, my grandmother. And then I can scroll down. Well, I don't want to do that. So I'm just trying to. So then if I want to add, instead of entering the information, since my father's already in Family Search, rather, instead of going through, I showed you the dialogue before where I can go in and actually enter the information. And so that's one way you can do it, but you can also click on these and then drag them over to the tree, over to the person, and then it'll come back and say, okay, so the tree avatar, so that's the one that in the tree, so that's myself, and then it lets me specify the ancestors relationship, and it's assuming that that's my father. You can change it if that happened to be someone else, but that's the right relationship right now. So I can just click on done, and then it'll add that person. So then it adds my father into the tree. And so now he's added in. And if I want, I can click on this to add his father if I want to do it that way. I can also add, like if I do the same thing with my mother, and then it'll go through basically the same process, which it wasn't supposed to do. So that wasn't good. So something it didn't like that. I'll have to look. That's actually nice to know, figure out what that is. But so anyway, that one, for some reason, that adding my mother after I added my father caused a problem. I'm not sure what it was, but I'll have to look at that. So then basically, but that's the process you go through to add in the ancestors for. You can add your ancestors, and so you can either enter them in by typing in the information like we did with myself, or you can actually, if they're in the tree, then you can drag them over and it'll add that information in with. And I did want to just show you so here I also wanted to just click on this and just show you if you double click on the portrait in the tree, then it'll load that that person into this view so you can see what the avatar is. And so this is actually the avatar that it creates for my father. And so he died fairly young. He was only 43. So that has his base, his birth and death date. And this is, the avatar that it tries to create, that it creates for him. Now, he actually had hair more like this, and it was very black. And so I'm going to change that around. And then his eyes were more like mine. Yeah, so I'm going to change that. So, and see how he was dressed. He always wore coveralls, so I'm going to put him in coveralls and then save him to the tree. And so you'll notice that when we come back from that view after we've changed his avatar, it actually shows his picture as an avatar. And so this one, even though we have his picture, that was from Family Search, that it has that avatar. And then down here, you can actually use that to switch between the pictures. So that'll switch it back and forth. So that's his picture from Family Search, and this is the picture of him, his avatar picture. And so, and only the people that have both pictures are going to have this little dialogue for switching. And so the idea is that, individuals will go through and they'll populate their tree by adding their ancestors and their other family members in, and they can adjust those and change them around the way they like. And then another thing that they can do is once they have the avatars created, they can basically go in and create family photos of their family members. And so it wasn't a design feature, and so it's basically going through and telling you these little bubbles that are showing up on the screen basically go through and show you what the different parts of the screen do and how you can use those. And those are displayed the first time that you use the app. You actually can turn those off up here in the settings like we did with the voice. You can turn these hints off as well. It just says, it's just a thing that says show hints on or off. And so, this is basically where you can go in and create a family picture. And to do that, so here's the avatars. This will show you a list of all the avatars that you've created, that you've added to your tree. They'll be shown up in this dialog over here. And then if you want to, you can pick which ones you want to actually add to the tree. And so you just click on those and then drag them over here. I think we weren't quite done. So then you drag them over to the picture, and then it brings over a picture of them. And the same thing here with, so I'll go ahead and put my father in as well. Okay. Now, see, one thing you'll notice how he's actually, I'll move him over here. He's actually faded, and that's just showing that, for the time, this picture is being displayed for the year 2020, and he's actually not alive during that time. And so his picture is shown as kind of a faded type image. And so then that he's in the picture, but he's actually wasn't living during the time of the picture. And so, and I'll show you what you can do with some things after that too. But then you can also, like if you want to change the background, see there's some different backgrounds that you can use if you want to change those around. Then there's a scrollable list of backgrounds that you can add and change. And so you just click on those to change those around. You can also click on this right here, this add background, and you can it will actually allow you to add an image. If you have a picture or something that you want to use for the background, you can actually bring that in and use that for your background. Or you can actually take a picture with your camera that if you want to use that for a background, and say you're in a specific room or a different scene at your house or something, or your backyard or whatever, you can actually take a picture and use that as the background for the photo. And so that's kind of a fun thing to do, to customize it more to what you're doing. There's also this third tab down basically allows you to apply a filter to the picture. And so then you can go in and create these different filters and change the image around. So if you click on this, then it'll basically go in and take that image and it'll add that as the filter, you know, do a filter on that image. And so that's what it'll change that background to be filtered like that. And you can, like you notice down here at the bottom, there's a switch that says filter avatars. So you'll notice that it didn't apply the filter to the avatars. It only applied the filter to the background. If you want to filter the avatars as well, then you can just turn that switch on, and then it'll allow it, then it will filter those avatars as well. And so there's also an image here that allows you to, like if you want to go in and crop those pictures, then you can go ahead and apply one of these, you can drag one of these over to the screen and then apply it, and it'll basically apply that as a filter. Like if you want to just crop, say, okay, we just want to crop it to this person, and then that's what it'll do. It'll show you that cropped image if you just want to see that particular part of the photo. So you can go in and crop it as well. And then I don't want to, let's say if you want to delete the crop, then you just take it off of the picture, and so we're going to delete it, so it won't be applied to this photo. And then this one, so you can also, so here's our current photo right here. That's the one that we're working on. If you want to create another photo, then you just click on this down here, and it basically will create a new photo with a different background, and then you can drag in different people, or you can create a whole different, whole different photo. And then the other thing that you can do is you have this timeline again. Well, let me just say this first. So here, this allows you to go in and rename your picture and the description of it and stuff like that. So you can go in and change that so that it says whatever you want. You can give it a description, you can change the year so that it matches the photo. But then down here at the bottom is this, one of those sliders like it was with the avatar view. And you can use this to change the year of the photo. And so right now we're displaying this picture for 2020, and that's what's shown in the little bubble. It shows you the year. And so if we want to change it to be something different, okay, my dad wasn't alive. He died in '74, so let's go back when he's still alive. And so this will basically go back, and it is what it's going to do is the background will stay the same, but it's going to change. It's going to update the photo of the people. It's going to update the image of the people in the photo to match that particular year. And so now they've changed this. So now I'm back in 1970. So I would have been 16 years old then, 14 years old. I was going to be 14 years old. And this is my dad, a few years before he died. And it's going to use whatever clothes we had on when we created them. It's going to use those. I mean, it's going to change it based on the clothes that we had them in originally. And also you'll notice I still have my hat on. And if I had, a mustache, that would all be there as well. And so, so that's basically, so you can change that around to be whatever year you want it to be. Then over here there's a couple of little icons that you can use. So this one is basically a coloring page. And so you click on that and it will create basically a photo, a picture of that is what it's supposed to do. Hopefully it's just taking a while. I've noticed this is really slow on this computer, but is what it does is it creates a black and white image of that outlines the individuals. I think I might have. So there it is. Just took it a while. And so this is basically a coloring page that you can print out, and your grandkids or whoever wants, they can color that. So it's basically a coloring page that you can print out to show your family photos, your ancestors. So, and it'll create that image of whatever is in your photo at that time. And then the other thing you can do is you can actually, this is a share button. So if you click on this, then it basically allows you, it allows you to share this photo over, you know, whether that's, so first, so you can copy it, you can save it to a file on the disk, and you can print it, or you can save it. And then you can also, it'll bring up different apps that you can use to share it with. Now, since I'm not hooked up to a mobile device, it doesn't have basically any sharing options. But if I was running this from a phone or a tablet, then basically it'd allow me to send this in a message or send it through Facebook or email it. Any of those ways I could actually share it with other people, with different family members. And then the last button I wanted to show you here is this button right here, which basically allows me to take a picture of this, and it adds it to a photo album, basically is what it's doing. And so here I take a picture of that, and so it puts us in this photo album, and then you can use that to save all of the different family photos that you create. You can add those in and create this photo album. And you have the same buttons as you had before. Is here that if you want to do the coloring page, you can, whichever photo you have in here, whichever one you click on, it'll create that coloring book page of that particular image. And then this one will also allows you to share it if you want to share that image with somebody. And then down here at the bottom are this basically, so right now in the photo album, I'm actually showing whatever photos I created from in the last view in the family photos. If I had added pictures for an avatar, like if I had added different pictures for him, then I could click on those to show those pictures. And then that allows you basically to look at any images you've added to a specific person. Like, yeah, in fact, that's something I meant to show. I should have showed you back. I wonder if the tree is still up. Okay, the tree's not up still. But when you're in Family Search, you know, there were two tabs there. One of them shows you the ancestors in the tree, and the other one shows you the memories that you have in your tree. And so that'll give you a list of all the memories that you have added in Family Search. And if you want, you can also drag those over and add those to a specific avatar. And that's where those images will show up, is right here at the bottom of this. So that's a pretty quick overview of the whole thing. But it's about 45 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? I can't really hear anybody, so I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, if anyone on Zoom has questions, they can come off mute.
That was great, Scott.
It does.
Okay.
That is just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And I can see, as you were showing the picture with your dad and you in the farmhouse kind of picture, and I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice if you could put a picture of your house that you lived in when you were that age instead of the farm background, and you just answered it, which is a great idea. This is really a wonderful program.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah, the kids are gonna love it.
Well, hopefully. I mean, it is like, Carol had mentioned before, it's probably appeals to younger kids.
Yeah.
And they're usually, but I think the thing that's nice is that for the kids to really be able to add in information about their family, they're going to need help from their parents. And so it's actually a really nice activity they can do with their parent and sit down and say, okay, and even when they're adding in their own siblings, they can put in the birthdays and stuff, and they can say, oh, okay, when was he born? And they'll add that in, and they can add a picture, so they can actually from their phone or their iPad take a picture of them and add that in as well. And so I think it's it would really be a nice activity, nice thing that parents and children can do together.
Yes, it's going to be great. It's a really good program. I love it.
Are you going to put it up on Play Store and Apple?
So it actually, one of the things right now, it only works on the iOS. So it's only it is in the App Store. So you can download it from the App Store. And it's supposed to be going on to the Solutions Gallery in Family Search. They're supposed to be adding that into that. And so you can download it from that as well.
Okay.
But it doesn't work on Android right now.